Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers at a drawing on July 10th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball Lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 4, 8, 23, 46, and 65. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 4 was orange, the 8 was orange, the 23 was green, the 46 was blue, and the 65 was blue. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 4 and the 8 were orange, the 23 was green, and the 46 and 65 were blue. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. I have 2 orange, 2 blue, and a green for 3 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 347 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And a 3-color combination has now come up 187 times. Okay, so if you do some quick math and divide 187 into 347, you're going to see that a 3-color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3-color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left is purple. Okay, so basically what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 different colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, okay? Or a good representation of each color, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers, okay? So the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers, and the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers, okay? So again, I'm going to start in with the 4, the 8, the 23, the 46, and the 65. And then the next line down is 40, 43, 45, 50, and 61. And the next line down is 13, 17, 24, 59, and 62. So again, I'm going to make these red. And now I'm going to count how many colors I have here. So I got 4 and 3 are 7. 3 more is 10, and 5 is 15, so I'm going to leave that alone at 15, okay? So up here it tells me how many colors, each color I have on the game card, okay? So moving on to this orange area, I'm going to go to the 1, the 5, the 16, 22, 54, and then the 3, 6, 11, 14, 66, and then the 4, which is already taken, the 18, the 21, 26, 38, and then the last row is 8, which is already taken, the 11 is taken, 14 is taken, 16 is taken, and the 49. So again, I'll make these all orange numbers, okay? And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 5, and 1 is 6, 2 is 8, 2 is 10, and 5 is 15. So I'm going to leave that alone right there at 15 as well, okay? So I think you get the understanding of how I do things, okay, with the game card and color code. So what I'm going to do is, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right here. And this is the game card for July 10th, 2019. You can see that there's 15 red numbers, 15 orange, turned out to be 13 green, 18 blue, and 8 purple numbers, okay? So again, more than half the time, a three color combination comes up, okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here, okay? So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So you can see that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 12 times out of 347 drawings, okay? So it does come up, but it's very rare, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color won't be coming up, okay? And for me, what I'm going to do is, I just want to add that, we're all going to look at this differently, okay? So we're all going to come up with a different result, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no purple numbers, okay? And the reason why is because there's only 8 purple numbers on the game card, okay? So to me, that's a big advantage, but, you just never know. So you may look at this and say, no, I don't think any green numbers are going to come up or whatnot, okay? But for me, again, I'm going to go with no purple numbers, so I'm going to take these purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to block these out. So when I block out a number like this 31 here, this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm buying a Powerball ticket for $3, okay? So in other words, what I'm doing is I'm betting $3 that none of these purple numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these purple numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize, okay? So one more thing that I want to do here is I'm going to eliminate some blue numbers here, okay? So I want you to concentrate on the 27, 30, and 65, okay? So you can see that the 27, 30, and 65, 63, 63, they're all blue numbers, okay? And if these numbers miss the 27, 30, and 63, then that means that they're going to be purple numbers on the next drawing, okay? And that will bring the purple up to 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that the 27, 30, and 63 won't be coming up as well. So I'm going to get rid of those numbers as well. So the 27, 30, and 63, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and I divided it into 7 different groups, okay? So this is group number 1, holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only group with 9 numbers, and the others have 10 for a total of 69 numbers, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this here. So here's the winning numbers, the 4 and the 8. Okay, so I'm going to find the 4 and come down, and I'm going to make this an orange number because the 4 is orange. Okay, and the 4 is orange because the color code said it was orange. All right, so I'm going to do that the same with the 8 because that came up as well. Okay, so this is what you're looking at as far as, when you see one of these green numbers, that green mark here, the number was green, okay? So another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to find out how many groups it hit. So the 4 and the 8 is in one group, the 23 is in another, the 46 is in another, and the 65 is in the other for 4 groups total, okay? So I try to correctly guess how many groups is going to be hit on this next drawing here, okay? Now, a 3 and a 4 come up the most, as you can see, okay? A 5 comes up every now and again. and a 2 will come up like every once in a blue moon, okay? And I'm kind of thinking that this 2 is kind of due to come up here, okay? So I'm thinking that this is going to be a 2 right here, okay? And we'll see what happens, all right? So let me reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so you can see that I divided all these numbers into 7 different groups here, okay? So there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So how you read this is this big square. This is good for 5 drawings, okay? And the reason why I did this and why I like to break things down into 5 is because when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this, excuse me, if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings here, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, or vice versa, okay? So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers here. So what I'm going to do is my prediction is that no 40 numbers are going to come up, okay? And again, we're all going to look at this differently, but on average, when I look through things, it'll either come up like 4 in one square here, or 3 or 4 as I go back into the history of things, okay? So this has already hit 4 right here, so I'm just gonna say that no 40 numbers are gonna come up, okay? So I'm gonna blow this back up, and I'm gonna go to the game card, and I'm going to eliminate the 40 numbers off of my game card because I don't think they're gonna come up. So we'll see what happens, and I'll get rid of those 40 numbers. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this. So I'm going to bring this up to 392 drawings, okay? And basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball Lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to look at the winning numbers. It was even, odd, okay? So I have 3 even numbers and 2 odd numbers. Okay, so the even's 1, so I'm going to make this 190. Okay, so out of 392 drawings, 190 drawings have come up the majority of even numbers, and 202 drawings have come up the majority of odd numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do for this one here is I'm going to say that I think the majority will be even numbers again, okay? Because when I look down through here, you can see that the odds had a huge run, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Here, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Here, I like to break things down into 5 again, so it shows me that majority, okay? So in this 5 drawings, the majority was odd numbers, 3 drawings to 2, okay? So I'm thinking that the evens are going to go on a streak here as well. So I think the majority is going to be even numbers for this upcoming drawing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write that down to remind me of what my picks were. Okay, so going back, moving on to the next one. This is high and low here. All the numbers in red are considered high. All the ones in blue are considered low. Even the 65, 66, and 67, okay? So when those numbers come up, I record them as low numbers, all right? So with this drawing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that there's going to be more high numbers than low numbers, okay? So again, I think at least 3 numbers will be in the red area, okay? And I'm going to write that down. So more to the high side, okay? More numbers to the high side. And then the next one is left and right, okay? So you can see that the last 5 drawings here were the majority to the right side, okay? And, you know, it hardly ever goes 6, okay? And I'm just going to run with that and say that more numbers are going to be to the left side than the right side, okay? So I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, and next I have this red and blue area here. You can see that the blue is way behind from the red, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think at some point this blue is going to go on a run here. So I'm going to say that more numbers to the blue area than the red area, okay? So I'm going to write that down as well. Again, just to remind me of what I picked, okay? So one last thing in here, I do have something for the Powerball itself, okay? There's 26 red numbers in the Powerball Lottery, okay? So if you're looking at this column here, I basically divided the numbers in 2, okay? So if you see a blue number, that means it's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that means it's high, 14 to 26, okay? Over in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, then that's evens, okay? So why I did that is now I just look at the colors, okay? So when I see something, you know, a long streak of blue here, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So you can see that you have a single blue, single blue, single blue, single blue. So I'm thinking that this next one is going to be a blue, okay? Which means I'm only going to concentrate on the low numbers of 1 through 13, okay? And over here, you can see that the red is pretty sparse, okay? So I'm going to say that this is going to be a red number here. So I think the Powerball number will be a low odd number, okay? So moving on to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers, okay? So basically what I did is I took all the numbers and divided it into 4 different groups, 4 different color groups here, okay? So when the Powerball numbers come up, I record where they land within these color groups down here in the stats, okay? So I'm going to do that right now. So again, the 5 white winning numbers were the 4, 8, 23, 46, and 65. Okay, so the 4 is in the red. The 8 shares the square with the 66, and I'll go over that in a second. So that was blue. The 23 was blue. The 46 was green. And the 65 was red. Okay, so I got 2 red numbers, the 4 and the 65. 2 blue numbers, the 8 and the 23. No winning Powerball numbers in the orange area, and 1 in the green, that 46. Okay, so when there's a hit, I color the background red for hot, and when there's a miss, I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so all right, so now the strategy is to eliminate groups of numbers. Okay, so last drawing, if I could have correctly guessed that no winning numbers were going to be in this orange area, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball Lottery, okay? So again, the strategy is to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up, okay? So what I'm going to do now is, since there was a 0 here, I'm going to make this 111. This tells me how many zeros have been in a column, okay? So what I'm looking for is something that's lagging behind here, like this 87 over here, the red numbers, okay? Now, I have 15 of these option cards. So here's option card number 1, number 2, number 3, okay? Now, they all use the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green, okay? It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? So again, I have 15 of these option cards, and I like to keep an overview of all the red numbers in all 15 option cards, okay? So the last drawing, there was 5 zeros among the red numbers here. So let me just point those out real quick, okay? So here's one right here, an option card 5. Here's the second one, an option card 8. Here's the third one, an option card 10. The fourth one, an option card 13. And the fifth one here, an option card 14. Okay, so I'm going to hit the home button and bring me right back. Okay, so here's the thing with this, with the overview here. Now, if there's 4 or less zeros among all 15 option cards, then I color the background red for hot. Okay, if there's 5 or more zeros among all 15 option cards, then I color the background blue for cold. Okay, so it gives me some separation. Okay, so when I can correctly guess where the blue mark is going to be, then that means at least a third of these option cards are going to have a 0 to it in that certain color code. Okay, so I'm going to say that the 0 is going to be here in the green area for this drawing. So I'm just going to concentrate on the green areas here. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to pick is this option card number 7. Okay, and the reason why I'm going with this is because it had 18 drawings in a row. Okay, so I'm just thinking that it's due to miss. Okay, I'm looking at all the green, so I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to eliminate these green numbers off of my game card. Okay, so I got the 4 corners, and then the middle, and then the 34, 35, and 45, 69. So I'll get rid of all those green numbers here, okay? So here the 8 shares the square with the 66, okay? I said I was going to go over that. Let me get this done first. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate all those numbers. Okay, so on my game card here, you can see that I have these numbers over here to the left side, okay? So when I go to group 1, you can see that there's no numbers here off to the left, okay? And the reason why is because I want this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, okay? That will give me 64 numbers, and there's 69 numbers in the Powerball Lottery, okay? So I had to group a couple of them up. So if I'm going to get rid of all these numbers here, okay, then I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66 among all these other numbers as well. So just my way of grouping things up here, okay? So the reason why I need these numbers off here to the left is because of the color code, okay? So you can see that the 25 is blue and the 65 is red, okay? So the 25 shares the square with the 65 here, okay? The 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 58 with the 68, and the 53 with the 69, okay? So moving on, my next guess is going to be option card 13, no green numbers. Okay, so, you know, there's really no rhyme or reason to things here, okay? Now, this is 13 on 13, so maybe it's going to miss, okay? So I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to eliminate all these green numbers here, okay? So the 6, 8, 13, 15, all the way down. Okay, so I'll get rid of all those numbers. Hopefully they don't come up, okay? And then moving on, the next one I'm going to take is option card 14, no green numbers. Okay, so here you can see 0 is doubled up, okay? And sometimes they even triple up or quadruple up or even more than that sometimes. So I think it's due to do that. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of all these green numbers. And that's the 1, 12, 17, 28, that pattern in all 4 squares. Okay, so I'll get rid of those. Hopefully those numbers don't come up, okay? And now I'm going to move on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers. Okay, except with this, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to update this as well. Okay, so the winning numbers were 4, it was green, 8, which was yellow, 23, which was gray, 46, which was brown, and 65, which was red. So I have 15 of these option cards as well. And they all have the same colors as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, and yellow. Okay. So I always like to read things left to right. So I got 1 red, 1 green, 1 brown, 1 gray, and 1 yellow. So down here is current. So this is the red area. So the 65 came up. There's no winning Powerball numbers in the blue area. No winning Powerball numbers in the orange. 1 in that green, that 4, okay? No winning Powerball numbers in the purple. 1 in the brown, the 46. 1 in the gray, that 23. And 1 in the yellow, that 8, okay? So over here, I count how many color groups it hit. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and the majority of the numbers are over here to the right side, okay? So when that happens, I color that 5 green, okay? So when I'm looking at, if I go into the history of things and I'm looking at this 5 and it's red, then I know that the majority of the Powerball numbers are over here to the left side, okay? So when I see something like this where there's been 5 green in a row, then maybe the majority of the Powerball numbers will be over here to this left side, and I'm going to be looking at the zeros for over here to the right side, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction, and I think that the 0 is going to be right here in this purple area, okay? So I'm going to eliminate these purple numbers off of my game card, and that's the 5 down to the 61. Okay, and you can see that there's nothing here, okay? So here's the thing with this. On average, with all 15 option cards, it turns out to be, actually, let me go right to it here. I have a group 2 overview as well. And that's right here, okay? So the last drawing, there was 61 hits and 59 misses among all 15 of those option cards, okay? So it's pretty close, okay? It runs pretty close for some reason, okay? So what I'm trying to say here is it runs about between 3.8 and 4.2, okay, for all 15 option cards. And what I mean by that is that on average, 4 of these color groups are going to have a miss to it, and 4 of these color groups are going to have a hit to it, okay? That's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so right now, it's kind of like a 50-50 guess, okay? So I went with this purple. There was nothing to eliminate. So if I come back and make another guess, like here at this red, the odds of me getting it correct go way, way up, okay? So I'm just going to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 chance again, okay? So here at option card number 2, I'm going to go with no red numbers. I think the 0 will be right here, okay? And I'm going to eliminate the red numbers off of my game card, and that's the 1 through the 66. So I'll get rid of the 2, 3, 4, and 7. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so moving on to option card number 3. I'm going to go with no red again. So here's the red, and as I work my way down, kind of got ahead of myself again here. I want to explain why this is blue and this is red, okay? So again, I like to break things down into 5 drawings, so it shows me that majority. And here you can see the majority is zeros, okay? So when that happens, I color the background blue for cold. And the next one down, you can see the majority was hits, so when that happens, I color the background red for hot, okay? So we all know the lottery is random, and this is what random looks like, okay? So when I see something that's been really, really hot, like down through here, well, I know it's going to turn cold eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So you can see how hot this has been, and now I think it's going to go on a cold streak. So I think the 0 is going to be right here, okay? So we'll see what happens. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, the 4 to the 28 and the 37 to the 61. So I'll get rid of that 20. So it's one more number, okay? So moving on. Again, I have 15 of these option cards. So option card number 4, I'm going to go with no blue numbers, okay? So here's the blue. Okay, so it's been pretty hot through here, okay? So I'm going to say that the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of those blue numbers, and that's the 13 and the 41. So I'll get rid of that 14. Hopefully that doesn't come up. Okay, moving on. Number 5, I'm going to go with no brown. So here's the brown. You see it's been pretty hot here, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to go with no brown numbers. And I'll get rid of that 23. So hopefully that doesn't come up, okay? So moving on, number 6. I'm going to go with no green. So here's the green. Been kind of hot through here, so been 50-50 almost. So I'm going to say that the 0 is still going to be right here, okay? And I'm going to get rid of these green numbers. And that's the 6, 13, 22, 29. Okay, nothing to eliminate there, so I'm going to move on to option card 7. And that's no brown again. So as I work my way down, it's been kind of hot through here. I think it's going to continue with the 0s. And that's the 1, 10, 3, 12 all the way across. Nothing to get rid of. So moving on to option card number 8. I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. See how this has been really hot, so I think the 0 will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 37, 48, 69, 63. Nothing to get rid of there. Okay, so moving on. Option card number 9. No blue. So here's the blue. You can see how hot this has been. Okay, so I think the 0 is going to be right here. And that's the 227 pattern on the left and 1621 on the right. And there's nothing to get rid of. Okay, so moving on to 10. I'm going to go with gray. Okay, so you can see how hot this gray has been. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the 17, 28, that pattern, all 4 squares. And nothing to get rid of again. Okay, so moving on to 11. I'm going to go with orange. So as I head down through, you can see how hot this orange has been. I think the 0 will be right here, okay? So this is the 66, 67, 33, and 54. And I'll get rid of that 62. So at least it's one more number to get rid of, okay? Moving on to 12. I'm going to go with gray. Okay, you can see how hot this has been as well. Okay, I think the 0 is going to be right here. And that's the 38 and the 2. So I'll get rid of the 9 and 26. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, and getting down there, I got 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. I got to eliminate 2 more. Okay, so 13, I'm going to get rid of the red. You can see how hot this red has been. Okay, now I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of the 65 and the 61. Now the 65 shares the square with the 25. So I'll get rid of both of those numbers. And this will bring me down to 5 numbers. Okay. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to go with the 36, the 39, the 50, the 52, and the 57. Okay, so let me just highlight those. Okay, so when I go back to the 50-50 picks here, okay, again, I thought there was going to be more even numbers, so the 36, 50, 52 will make that happen. More to the high side, you can see all the numbers are to the high. More to the left side, you can see 4 numbers here, and more to that blue area, which you can see that 4 of them will be there, okay? So again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 36, 39, 50, 52, and 57, okay? So, you know, what are the odds that I made all the correct picks here? So let me go over the odds for a second. Okay, so the odds of getting the grand prize, that's all 5 white balls and the red ball, the odds are 1 in 292 million and change, okay? My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, and what I mean by that is the game is geared up to eliminate the white balls, okay? If I get the red ball, then bonus, okay? But the odds are 1 in 11,688, okay? A nice prize is 4 white balls and a red ball, okay? That pays 50,000 plus the power play, okay, if you play it. And the odds are just about 1 in a million, okay? More realistic odds is getting 5 white balls. Okay, that pays $100 plus the power play. Okay, that's 1 in 14,000. Okay, getting 3 white balls pays $7 plus the power play if you play it. That's 1 in 700. All right, and just getting the red ball, I think, is 1 in 29. I think it was. Okay, and that pays $4 plus the power play. Okay, so just going over a budget, I just want you to know that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, so in closing, I just want to thank you for watching. Okay, if you'd like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay, and as always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.